Yo, Bachi 2007 back at you with another one. We're going to pick up on this last video, this other video that we were looking at earlier. Here it is playing. I haven't even edited it down yet. I haven't, definitely haven't posted it because it's not even edited down, but I'm coming back the same night. And basically, I ran out of time because this video was like 20 minutes long. So I had to move on. But it's called, let's see. Single moms, big mad man doesn't date single moms, even though she doesn't date single dads. So that's going to be the video. So this is in my file folder here that we're going to have a second video of. It may have a different name, but it'll be a continuation. Something like single moms shame men or whatever, who knows. But also, what we want to look at here is in the beginning of the other video, I talked about we're going to see the mind state of single mom raised adults and what their mentality is, both a male and a female version. But because that video got so long, we didn't get to that point. So that's why we're going to keep recording and talk about that. So let's pick up right where we left off on before. Her
Ralph,
sign
do you have
is
something to
like,
add?
Good. Well, no, well, okay.
You're not a single parent, so it's a little bit more harder.
No, I'm not a single parent, but I grew up in a single household. No, I'm not a single parent, but I grew up in a single household.
Right,
So I grew up without a father. I've always wanted a father,
right.
whether mine's or not, whether like blood or not. So I always wish that I had somebody to kind of like lace me up, guide me, because we bump our heads a lot. So
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from, what you're saying, because you're like, and I get the whole thing. That's not my child. Why should I invest my time? But I'm saying, like, for me, because I wanted that, so I can understand from both. But I wanted that. That's not something I would. If I meet a woman with children, that's not a deal breaker for me.
Right.
Because when I was in high school, I was dating a girl. I was out of high school with kids. So yeah, she had one child, a son. But I love kids though. So to me, it's not like I don't look at it like I'm.
I love kids is irrelevant. The purpose or the point around why men would not want to bring a woman's children into their lives has nothing to do with what they feel about kids or whether you like kids or not. That is not even at issue one way or the other at all whatsoever. And both he and she multiple times keeps bringing that up. Again, this is their whole mentality. They don't think about standards. They don't think about value to a man's life. They are raised by single mothers who are single mother minded and self-centered around the woman's needs and how a woman looks at the world. Neither the female nor this man who was raised by a single mom has a man's perspective on life and what it means to bring someone else's kids into your life. Doesn't matter how much you like kids. You may like the kids. That's a whole different thing than to have to be responsible for them, to have them in your home disrupting your tranquility, to have their bad attitudes and their hostility that they may have that you are dating their mom, that you are an authority figure coming into where they live, that you might be replacing their dad in some kind of way, whatever resentments they might have about that. If you have kids, they're gonna might feel some kind of way about how you treat your kids versus theirs, or they're used to dealing with the woman and not having a man tell them anything. Now you as a man telling them something is a problem when that woman wants to up and when because she has no value for you as a man, as I demonstrated in the last video with the way that woman says, "Who are you that I should bring something to you as a man?" When these are how these women are these days. It's not like days of old when you came to a woman who had children 40 and 50 years ago, and they those women checked those kids. This is Mr. Simpson, and you will respect him. Nah, now it is, you don't talk to my child, you don't correct my child, you don't tell my child nothing. And they say this in front of the kid to undermine you and to make sure you're disrespected. These are the reasons why you don't deal with another woman's children, or at very least, you should be very weary about it. And then there's the fact that she is a woman who does single motherhood, especially if she keeps doing it. She didn't just make a mistake one time and she was 17, she's 22, 23, 26, having 2 and 3 kids, just doing this over and over again. Multiple men most of the time. The whole mind state of the woman that even lives like this is going to be poison to your life. There's going to be just like all of the attitude that you see from this woman sitting across from them that we're going to see here in a moment. I love children is just so irrelevant for this discussion, and it shows the mind state of single mom raised children and the kind of mentality you're not trying to bring into your life. What you need to bring into your life is to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and the notification bell so you can keep these videos in your life and be notified for the next one. Like, subscribe, and we're going to get back to the program.
I'm wasting my time, because I always hear people say, well, if I did a woman with children, one day her children is going to denounce me and say, you're not my father.
Yeah.
But for me, I always look at it this way, it's a rite of passage.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if we're bickering and I'm trying to give you the right things to do, the right thing to say, the only way for you to hurt me or to make me feel little is by you to say, well, you're not my dad, you can't tell me what to do. And I call it a rite of passage.
Yeah.
That wouldn't bother me. But again, I'm speaking from me not having a dad.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Something that I always wish I had.
Right.
So to me, that's not really a deal breaker. But I'm not speaking for all men. I'm only speaking for myself.
Right. And
I wouldn't rock. I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? Like, just like you said, bro, it's not that it's a deal breaker, but me, just how I think if a man is going to be dating a single modern mother, that single modern woman is going to have to go above and beyond to show herself approved to that man. Because why would that man select you when he could go out there and select a much younger woman that is childless? That's not going to bring the chaos to him. Because like I said earlier today, who is to say what time the father of your kids are on? You get where I'm coming
So
from?
you're looking
Right,
at
but that's only
safety.
one.
Correct.
That's only one perspective that is a very important
Very
perspective, of course. But it's only one. So, like, even when you say me being okay, I'm gonna take myself. Me being someone I didn't grow up with my father.
Okay.
I would hate if my mother had met men with that mindset that you just described, because the men that my mother, and it wasn't a lot of men or whatever, but like my stepfather came along when I was like in 4th grade. I thank God for him every day. You understand? Like, my father wasn't present in my life. He stepped in and he did what no other man did all the way through till I was all the way in college. They didn't get divorced until years later. And that man saved my life in so many ways. He was so, and we did have fights. I mean, like teenagers, kids, you got kids, kids say, your kids say crazy stuff to you. So just imagine what they're going to say to a stranger in the midst of being upset.
It's like I said, dog, like for me.
But sorry, not to cut you off. So I'm just saying, thank God for him, because I tell him all the time, my father's out of prison now. If I get married, both of them have to walk me down the aisle because he really raised me.
Yeah.
So that thought process to me is just mind blowing and it's insane. The reason I don't want to date people with kids, I don't concern myself with what the kids may or may not say, because what you give a kid is what they're going to give you back. And once they get to that age of teenage, we know teenagers, so that's not even something to take personal. I'm expecting you to say it, because if you don't say it, I think something ain't right. Because that's what kids are going to say.
But some kids won't say it.
Yeah.
But again, if you do say it, it's like, to me, it's like,
That is crazy. A man who is a self-respecting man doesn't just accept any kind of foolishness and bad things. Again, this is women's mind state. Women accept that. This is like when I was growing up, and I was the middle child out of 5. And so at one point, I was the youngest kid. And then at a certain point, I was the oldest of the other 2 when the 2 oldest left the house. And I would be left with the younger kid sometimes. And my parents would come back home, and my mom would be like, I'd go and tell my dad if I had problems with the other 2 being out of pocket. My mom said, why you go and tell him, blah, blah, blah. He going to be fussing and arguing. It was like, because you don't do anything. I'm telling her that. Like, you don't do anything. I knew that my brother and sister weren't going to listen to my mom the same way I wasn't, because I knew her threats were empty. They ain't mean nothing. She just talking, don't do nothing. So that's how women deal with kids. That's why the ghetto is wild, and that's why their homes are wild and undisciplined and out of control. Men bring control and standards and structure. And children talking crazy to you is not acceptable. That's not how it goes. I'd be okay with that. Yeah, we know you would. And we know what the result of that is. It's called the hood. It's the ghetto. That's what the result of that is. That's generations of kids talking crazy to women with no man around. No, brother, you shouldn't accept that. You shouldn't set up your life to go live in chaos where in your house, where you pay the bills, where some rusty butt Negro was laying up in your air conditioning, he gonna talk crazy to you? Absolutely not. I'm not having it. If you are, then you that fool. But that's whatever.
Like
It's a hit or miss.
it's like I'm gonna laugh at you like yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I like my advice on this, man, is not gonna because I say I can't.
You're not a
I
single.
can't say you wrong. I can't say you right. I can't say. All I'm saying is, for me, I'm black, bro. So I only know how to be black.
Right.
And all I'm saying is, a lot of us we grew up fatherless.
Yeah.
You know, and I think
Being fatherless is not being black. I've been black about as long as this guy has. That's being ghetto. That's hold on. I want to show y'all something. All right, let's check this out right here. If I can get this thing to do what I want. There we go. CDC. That's the Center for Disease Control. That is the primary medical disease public health institution in America, in one of the leading institutions in the entire world. Black men are better fathers than most. An iconic CDC study found that black fathers who live with their children were more likely than white or Hispanic fathers to bathe, change, and dress them daily. That's picked up over here, and it continues. They are more likely to eat meals with their children and help them with their homework. Additionally, many black fathers are deeply committed to leaving a lasting legacy for their children, focusing on quality time and mindful parenting. Despite facing various societal challenges, these fathers strive to be present and involved in their children's lives. It's important to recognize and celebrate the dedication and love that many black fathers bring to their families. Do you have any specific? Okay, so that's your black. That's y'all living the falling for the okey doke life that massa set up for y'all, where y'all go out here and randomly have children all over the place and live these wild lives with no structure, talking about it's okay for kids to talk crazy to you in your house. That's y'all living. That's not black living. Black men take care of their children. That's y'all world over there. When you keep perpetuating this nonsense generation to generation instead of learning, y'all doing the same foolishness over and over again. Her mama had a jailbird and was a single mama. She didn't have no man around until she was 9 or 10 years old. Here she come. She got 2 kids with no man and don't value marriage or nothing else. You talking this dude talking this nonsense about accepting all this foolishness and just acting like it's not a problem. It is a problem. Stop perpetuating it. That's not being black. That's y'all being slaves because you won't learn and stop falling into this same trap that the man set up for y'all that we can see coming a mile away. We already know what it is. It's not, don't equate that with being black. That's y'all black. That ain't my black.
it's because we always talk about back in the days and stuff like that. I think a lot of times, man, the difference with why back in the days was probably a lot better than today is because a man, when he meets a woman, he didn't care how many kids she had.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If he loved that woman like that woman, you know, it was all in.
Yep.
But it's different time, different mindset.
Can I piggyback off what you said?
Let me finish. I'm gonna let you rock.
Right, go ahead.
So I can only go off my experience. Like I said, I always wanted a dad. Never had one, but now I get to play one. Right. So I get to be one. It's the most important. Yeah, I get to be, and I love being a dad. And to me, I don't look at a kid like that's mine or not mine. You know what I'm saying? I look at it like you a child. And
let me piggyback off what you said because you mentioned
talking about the time.
Yeah, the time.
Yeah.
So you have to understand. In those times, women used to honor men. You know, when a man came in and took over a family, that woman gave that man praise. You know, just honor, because in today's time that we're living in, being a stepfather is like basically being down. You know what I'm saying? Being down talked upon, right? Because matter of fact, I see it all the time. where modern single mothers would be like, oh, a man have to bring A, B, and C and D to me. But this man that you created this family with didn't even have to pay didn't have to pay that premium price.
But who's to say that?
No, it's going on. It's omnipresent. So why does
That's
this
right.
man
It's
who is
omnipresent, as he said. But look, there's always a combative argument from these women. The scenario is what the scenario is, but they always got to bring up a different scenario. No, we're talking about this scenario. These are the kinds of women, and this is what you get dealing with that kind of woman. You will get this on everything. They got to push back for every single word you say. In dating one of these single mothers, modern women-minded single mothers, this is what you're going to get constantly in that relationship. That's why her stepdad left her mom too. I mean, it'll never stop. It's
competitive, productive, has to come in and share his resources. Truth for prime example. So if we do the Brady Bunch thing, right? If this woman have her kids, I have my kids, and we merge our family together, right? So every $100 that I spend within that household, 40% is going to go to your kids, 60% is going to go to my kids. So basically, I'm taking resources away from my biological kids to give it to your kids. Who is to say if those kids are going to appreciate me for what I'm doing for them, for being present, for being a father figure to them, right? At least I know if I have my own kids, my own biological kids, as long as I'm showing up for them, at least I know if I have my own kids, my own biological kids, as long as I'm showing up for them, I'm taking care of them, I'm mentally present for my kids. At least I know when I become an old man one day, my kids are going to take care of me. I don't have to worry about my kids telling me, oh, you ain't my daddy. Why do I have to listen to you? And also, too, with bringing two families together, my kids may follow a certain set of rules. Your kids may follow a certain set of rules. So my kids could be like, Daddy, why they do such and such and such? Why can they do this? And because you have a set of rules from your kids, they're gonna be like, damn, why can they do this and why can I do that?
You're saying the mindsets could be different.
Yeah, it can be completely
The mindset. No. What I'm saying is that no. Listen,
this is pure stupidity.
look how she invalidates everything, every feeling of a black man, every thought of a black man. Anything that matters to a black man is irrelevant and it's stupid. It's stupid because it cuts against her. Because she's a banshee raising banshee children with single mama mind states and she can't take it. But this is the disrespect you're going to get. That face looking at you like that all the time, pushing back against everything you have to say, invalidating everything you are as a man, refusing to receive any structure. And this is the problem with them. Let's let her rock out with this last little bit of foolishness and then we'll get out of here.
But what I'm saying,
no, it's not. It's stupidity.
No.
It's basically taking every reason you can think of in the book for why it wouldn't work. When you meet somebody and you're engaged with that person and you like that person in the beginning, yes, it may be a conflict of how you parent, how I parent. It's gonna even if you didn't have kids, it's gonna happen. If I meet you and I start talking to you, how you live your life and how I live my life may be two completely different things. Over time, we mesh.
No, you don't mesh. That's the problem. You don't mesh. This is dumb what she's saying. It makes no sense.
Over time, you blend. That's pure stupidity. And guess what?
No, you get rid of this. You don't mesh with it. You get rid of it because it'll never work. That's why her stepfather isn't with her mother right now.
It comes to the point where you guys can't agree on things, it would never even get to the point that you even have to concern yourself with blended families. Because as women, mothers, I can't speak for all mothers, but I could say, I'm not going to deal with no man that don't mesh or blend well with my kids. And that doesn't mean I'm putting my kids before you. That just means as I analyze this situation that we're in, if it's not going to work, it wouldn't get to that point where we even have to go to that. But there is...
It doesn't have to get to that point by a man not dealing with you in the first place. He doesn't have to deal with you and your kids in the first place. This is what these women don't want to accept, but it's too bad because this is how men feel and believe, and they're going to act accordingly. That's how it works.
There are situations where you will blend just fine. That means that's for you. I have a favorite phrase I like to use. I use it all the time when I'm referring to just myself, when I'm referring to dating. And I say it all the time. People need to learn their lanes. When you know your lane, you're not confused. When you're dating people that are in your... I'm in the far left lane. probably about 90% of the time. And it's quite often that I get guys that are in the far right lane, that slow lane, and somehow they made their way over to mine. And I don't understand how they got there or why they're there, but they're there. So I have to redirect them because I know just off of conversation, just off of one conversation could let me know. And I have to redirect you and say, hey, this just isn't your lane.
It's just some bimbo babble, as Pink Book Lessons would say. She just said a bunch of nothing that makes no sense. You ain't redirecting no man, lady. Men don't take direction from women. Men come in and give direction and instruction in a household, in a relationship. He's not taking direction from you. Single mama, baby bimbo babbling, nose pierced, arm tatted, chest tatted chick. Nobody's listening to your direction. But you see what we get from this single mom raised woman and this single mom raised man. Dude is cool as far as him being respectful of other men's perspective, but his mentality is jacked up. He's from the ghetto. He thinks being ghetto equals being black. He thinks black woman raised household in a neighborhood full of women women led households. He thinks that's black. That is not. His mentality is messed up. He falls in line with that thinking of which he comes from, and this is the problem with single mothers raising children by themselves with no man there to provide any structure. And this is where we get these son husbands because women warp young men's mentalities to where you got a person with a male body and male testosterone, but a woman leaning mentality. I'm out of here on this one. Your Bocce 2007. Y'all know what y'all need to do. You need to hit that like button. You need to subscribe and notification if you have it. We out with this one. Peace.